All right, welcome to a screencast where I will be showing you how to use Microsoft Excel to write equations for linear data. In this video, I'll be showing you how to open a new file in Excel, enter data into that file, create a graph of that data, and then draw a best fit line or have Excel draw a best fit line for you, and then use a linear model to write an equation for that line. All right, so first we're going to open up just a new file in Microsoft Excel, just a blank workbook or a blank document. And I already have a data set. I'm going to copy and paste into here. There we go. And the data represents the amount of time that a battery-operated car has traveled in seconds on the left-hand column, and the position of that object in meters at each of those times. All right, and this is supposed to represent actual data from a lab that would include uncertainty. So these data points are going to follow a linear trend, but it won't be, all the dots won't follow exactly on the line. Okay, so once we have that data set in Excel with our titles, we're first going to insert a graph. And so to do that, we select all of the data, go to Insert, and I'm going to select where it says Charts up here. We're going to look for the one that is called a scatter plot. So select that, and we're going to use the one that is not connecting the dots. Okay. Now that we have that chart, I'm going to make it larger. You're going to see that the default settings have a title for the graph, and the title happens to be one of the names of the columns, and it doesn't have any labels for the axes. So we're first going to change that by selecting the plus button, and then adding axes titles to it. That will allow us to go back in to the y-axis. We're going to label this position in meters. May have misspelled that. And this one we're going to label time in seconds. Okay, and then we could give this a title like battery-operated car experiment. Something like that. Okay. Now to add a trend line, and first of all, you'll see that this is linear. The dots generally follow a line that's increasing. To add a trend line, we're going to go back to the plus button, and we're going to select trend line. And if we just click it, it's going to add the line for us. But there's some other things that we'd like. So we're going to click the arrow pointing to the right, and more options. The first thing that I'm going to do, this isn't a big deal, but you'll notice the trend line doesn't trace its way all the way back to the y-axis. So I'm going to have it go backwards by 1 second. It says 1 period. So I entered 1 there, and now it is tracing it all the way back to the y-axis. We're also going to have it display the equation on the chart and display the r-squared value on the chart. The r-squared value is related to the coefficient, the correlation coefficient that I described in the Logger Pro video. Okay, so if we take a look at this, and let's see if I can make the font bigger. This is telling us the slope of the equation, the slope of the graph and the y-intercept. It's not including the units. So we have to do the work ourselves of looking at the units and noticing that the slope should be 0.4038 meters per second, and that the y-intercept should be negative 0.02 meters. Okay, to finish this up, I'm going to show you how to use this to write an equation for that data. So this equation is okay. It's in the form of y equals mx plus b. But I'd like to show you how to write an equation that uses actual letters that represent the variables in the experiment and includes units. So instead of y, using y equals mx plus b as our model, I'm going to use the letter P for position. Instead of m, I'm going to type in 0.40, and I'm going to round it there. And then the units we said were meters per second. Instead of x, I'm going to use the letter T. And instead of the y-intercept, I'm going to type in negative 0.02 meters. We need rid of the plus or minus, just minus 0.02 meters. All right. So that's an example of how to use Logger Pro to write an equation for linear data. how to use Excel to write an equation for linear data.